I'm sorry, Captain, but this isn't about you. The lives of everyone who wears a uniform are at stake.
I don't see it that way.
What is that angry-ass look? That was such a weird response, though. There are so many lives at stake. It's just not about you. It kind of makes me feel like maybe he shouldn't be captain. Man, everything is going sideways. We have 3 people who are very displeased with us. Let's see where that goes, I guess. All right, it is time for more Star Trek. Star Trek Resurgence, specifically. We're getting quite deep into this now, but we still have some unanswered questions. Who are the Scions of the Flame? We believe that they are Takan consciousnesses that have been injected into people such as Miranda, such as Galvin and Sidron, also that one Elydian general guy. But we have reason to believe that there are probably 20-ish other Takan personalities out there in disguise, effectively. So what is the purpose for Scions of the Flame? It seems like possibly an extremist group because of the name, I guess. But their goals are not entirely clear. However, I suspect that they are provoking this war between the Hotari and the Elydian. So why would they be doing that? Hopefully we'll find the answers to that. Where has Miranda gone? I don't know, but I suspect if we keep investigating the Scions of the Flame, we will find her, along with the other crew members who have also been influenced by Takan. Oh, also, we found that quantized crystal a handful of videos ago, and Miranda seems to have absconded with it. She was supposed to put it into quarantine or something, and then it never showed up, and then she went missing, and nobody really knows where it is or what its purpose is, but that's left unanswered. Also, I guess we don't know what caused the accident that occurred on the USS Resolute before the events of the game. I don't know if we'll find answers to that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But in the immediate term, this Elydian warship was targeting Hotari, and then it went offline.
My crew is going to die. Please, I beg of you. You must render assistance.
So something is awry there, and we have sent an away team. Finally, we have Carter and Jara in the same space. I will be presumably controlling both of them back to back in the same room, maybe. We'll see how that goes. And there's a lot of toxic atmosphere on their ship. They no longer have the power to sustain their life support systems, so we are on a rescue mission to go over there, and maybe we'll find Miranda. That's just a vibe I get, because where else would she have transported to? I don't know. If I'm being honest with you, I am genuinely quite excited to see where this goes. Okay, Errand of Mercy. Yellow. You guys called?
The ship's life support. It's almost completely drained.
And the other systems, too.
Oh no.
We gotta get to their transporter room.
Evacuate the Zeldy? Oh, getting the phaser out, huh? Carter's on the case. Oh, hey, where did Jara go? And, not Tuvok. Oh, I can look it up. Bedrosian and Chovak and Jara, they're all somewhere else, I guess. I don't remember that part. I'm looking forward to, hopefully Bedrosian has a chance to shine coming up. I'm really looking forward to that because I feel like she hasn't really been able to prove herself beyond that really early encounter on the bridge.
The atmosphere in here is turning to poison. All of these Elydians are going to die if we don't get them out of here.
Yeah, well, pick them up, put them on your back.
These must close in case of emergency. They don't have enough power left to function. Carter, give them a charge with your phaser. Should make them open.
Oh, interesting. I was just about to ask, I wonder if the poison is more dense or less dense than air. Because we might actually not want to leave them on the ground. They might be having a higher saturation of poison in their lungs, which would be bad. We can kind of prop them up and lift them up or something. Because it does look like the poison is kind of hanging a bit low. Carter? Oh, there we go. Come on through, guys. Just me? Okay. I feel very exposed out here. Open.
It's not working.
Oh, there you guys are.
Power's running through any of this. We gotta get him open
Stop!
manually.
What?
I am the ranking officer here. State your intentions. We are under siege. Explain yourselves.
You asked for our help.
Our intentions? Your leaders asked for our help.
And they sent you?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Whoa there.
Should be thankful for any help you get right now.
Able to stand. What are you trying to do?
We gotta get into your transporter room.
Then we can get your people off the ship.
This is our transporter room? It's kind of cool. Big round room. It's massive.
Make sure they're evenly spaced. We need to manually adjust beam trajectory so they connect.
I got this one. You get the others.
Okay. I can do that. I'm just that good at it that I can do 4 in the time it takes you to do 1. Although I guess in some remote systems, I'm thinking like in terms of photography or lighting. Sometimes when you have a bunch of units that need to work together with one another, you typically have one main or primary unit that all of the others are synced to, and they all just relay to this primary unit. Maybe Edsolar is setting up the primary main unit, and I'm setting up all of the remote relays, right? So there's a little bit more work that goes into Edsolar's side of things than on my side of things. I like to think that's what's actually happening here. You good? Oh, I was going to talk to you because there's a thing next to you, and then it's gone now. Whoa! Cool. I thought it would have. Ah, I see. Damn, I'm just that quick with it. Look out! God, it's Solar. It's a safety violation. Okay, I have to be very careful now. Okay. Pretty?
All right. The pattern enhancers are aligned and ready to go.
Let's round them up.
These will boost the signal so we can transport through the storm. We have a shuttle outside this ship that will route the signal to the Resolute.
All crew to Transporter Room 2. We are evacuating.
Yeah, please don't shoot us.
We're live.
Here they come.
Okay, we should probably send a crew out to get the ones who aren't conscious. Wait, is that the dude? Is he Takan-brained?
All in good time. This is only the beginning.
Okay.
Oh no.
Beam status. Energizing controls.
And only Jara would know.
Step on the platform so we can evacuate you, Admiral.
The crew goes first, Arminta.
Sir,
I mean it.
you! Get on the platform already!
Damn, bro, chill.
Okay. The interface is in Elydian, but the layout is the same as a Starfleet transporter. I just gotta do what I did before. Select the people to transport.
Okay.
Plot a path through the ionic interference.
This is kind of cool.
Okay. Just have to calibrate the signal gain to get the highest possible output.
Okay. Since watching back the footage, I understand this so much better. It's way easier than I made it out to be. Okay, so we just have to look for the lowest point and then wait for the highest point to go across it. Basically.
Even at this range, the interference is too much.
What?
System is suggesting better transport coordinates. D, it's the shuttle. You're sitting right in the thick of it. I'm sending you specific coordinates for a clear signal path.
Something is wrong with that
To the
ship.
navigational computer. There, Commander. Give or take 50 meters.
All right, you're doing great, Bedrosian. You're doing great. I maintain that this shuttle handles terribly. Well, terribly is overstating it. I don't like the way it handles. But, you know, I'm a real stickler for, I wanted to,
Away from the lightning.
I was keeping, okay. You know, I'm a real stickler and I would like it to feel like it is, that seems bad. What the hell is, this thing is massive. Good grief. I don't know how I, avoided that. Yeah, I'm a real stickler for wanting it to feel like 0G. What the hell? Oh my god. Yeah, just fly through this... fly through this rock. Just like they teach us at the academy. Am I running into something? What the hell is... Something is not quite right. Okay. Just gonna fly around the rings. There's no reason to fly through them. I also cannot fathom why these rings actually exist, like an in-canon reason.
Melville to away team.
I made it through that, I guess. I'm on it.
I have the first group of Illydians in the pattern buffer. Redirecting and transmitting to the Resolute now.
This is Resolute. We have the Illydians safely aboard.
We did it! I was so worried this wouldn't work. We got this.
On one hand, I do want to say don't celebrate yet. She is very naively optimistic, and I want to temper that a little bit. On the other hand, I do want to tell her good work for, positive reinforcement. You didn't fuck anything up. That's just like classic, solid work, right? And I want to recognize good work when it's done. I don't want to say, of course we did. That's very arrogant. I'm hoping that if I say good work, she'll say, hey, good work. But, let's keep our eyes on the prize here, right? Let's not get distracted. Just because I fear that don't celebrate yet is going to be a little too pessimistic and a little too like, hey, chill it, Bedrosian. But I do think it is a premature celebration. There's still a lot of work left to be done. I'll say good work.
Good work. Keep it up.
Yes, Commander.
This is Commander Rydek. We're holding steady. Signal is good.
Lieutenant Bedrosian was thrilled to have Jaro's support and encouragement during the Illydian rescue mission. Okay. It's interesting. The little profile off to the side was gray or white, which I assume is neutral. And then green is positive and red is negative. But this description sounds very positive. Interesting.
Keep them coming.
But yeah, I'm glad that option kept her focused. And I know that Jara's opinion means a whole lot to her.
Admiral, you're next.
I've made it clear. I only leave after those in my charge.
Sir,
Sure.
insist you go so you can lead our people. I will see to any stragglers.
Yes, that may be for the best. But first, let me thank our human saviors. I'll pin medals on your uniforms when this is over.
Okay.
Your brave work.
Sure. Get on the transporter! Stop talking to me! That would be very rude. But also, we are in an emergency situation. Again, I sort of like the middle option. Hey, don't thank me yet. We still got work to do, right? Eyes on the prize, lower decker attitude. Don't thank me yet. Although don't thank me yet doesn't really instill confidence. It sort of sounds like you're up to something if you say, don't thank me yet. You don't know what I have in store for you. I'm about to transport you out into the vacuum of space, bud. Don't thank me yet. You just wait and see. Do I just say you're welcome? As long as your welcome is brief, I think that's fine. I think that's appropriate. Like, hey, they're expressing gratitude, and you say, hey, you're welcome. Hey, don't sweat it. It's no big deal. But seriously, you gotta go. You gotta go. Yeah, I'll just say you're welcome. And the reason I'm gonna say you're welcome is because there have been some tensions between the Federation and the Illydians. And I feel like this is a small good gesture to say, hey, don't sweat it. There's no like ill intention or ill will here. We're happy to help. This is what the Federation is about. This is what we do.
You're very welcome, Admiral.
Does Starfleet let you wear another fleet's medal?
We will find out.
Yeah, I guess. That's a question for later.
We're ready for transport.
Get the Admiral to safety.
Energize.
On it.
Massive
Sure.
power surge.
Sending available power to the annular confinement beam. I have the Illidians in the pattern buffer, but I cannot resolve their signal to send them through to the Resolute, nor can I materialize them here.
We need a better position with the Resolute.
I'm on it. As long as the ship cooperates this time. Moving forward at impulse.
We're almost there.
Bro, what? Get real. What? I don't buy it.
I am losing their patterns. I need more power, but internal relays are not functioning.
I'll do it manually.
Damn.
I am trying. I will lose the transport if I do not have more time. The signal is resolving.
Please!
Good grief. I'm just gonna sit here and think for a minute. Either you complete the transport or I can think about it a little bit longer while she screams in agony. Bet you're wondering how I got into this situation. Good grief, Bedrosian. First of all, respect. Bedrosian is willing to put her life on the line for this diplomatic mission. She is willing to go the distance. I said earlier, I can't wait for her to prove herself. She's doing it right now. Right? This is not like her saying the right thing in a tough situation. This is her saying, I know how to save their lives. And it's by putting my own at risk. She's not doing it because an officer who ranks higher than her told her to do it. She's doing it because she thinks it's the right thing to do. This is the trolley problem. We have a trolley problem on our hands. Do you allow the train to run over a bunch of people, but you do not actively engage with it, or do you actively engage with it, change where the train goes, and it runs over one person? I am compelled to complete transport. And I'm compelled to do it because it will save more lives. Simple as that. This moment actually makes me respect Bedrosian so much. I actually really like her because of this. And part of me does want to save her because there is that bond between Bedrosian and Jara. However, she has made this choice, for one. So by completing the transport, I am honoring her decision. And I am trusting her decision in a way that I didn't at the beginning of the game. Beginning of the game, I sided with Westbrook. I didn't fully trust her instinct. Well, in that situation, it wasn't even really about who was suggesting what. I just liked Westbrook's idea better. But here, if I complete the transport, I am trusting her instinct. I am saying, she has made this decision. We're running with it. Let's go with it. And hopefully I can still save Bedrosian afterwards. Hopefully she doesn't die as part of this. But also I will be potentially saving the lives of, what was it, like 8 Illidians or something like that? For me, it's not even really factoring in whether or not one of those Illidians is a high-ranking Illidian. It's just the sheer matter of there being many of them. That matters to me. The only thing that holds me back from just making this decision and saying, yes, complete the transport, is that while I don't think the game would do this, by being offered this choice, I fear that there's a risk that you try to complete the transport, Bedrosian gets seriously injured, and we're still not able to complete the transport. We're already having difficulty with the transport. So the transport is already in an uncertain state. However, if I chose to save Bedrosian, there is a certainty to that, right? She is here in front of me and in peril. I can save her. I can push her off of this and I can save her. That is certain. But if we complete the transport, her safety is not certain, their safety is not certain. I'm gonna trust her. I'm gonna complete the transport and we'll see how this goes. Maybe I will live to regret this choice. It's tough, but I think it is probably the right thing to do. Also, Bedrosian has been holding on to this for like 4 minutes now. And, and I think if something bad were gonna happen, it's already happened to her. I don't want to click the button though. There are certain risks we take when we go on an away mission. It's part of the job. We're completing it.
Finish the transport.
I have them. Transport complete.
Oh shit. That's gnarly, but she's alive.
She is injured.
But she is alive.
Lieutenant Bedrosian has been injured, but the last transport was successful.
Lieutenant Bedrosian may never forgive Jaro for the plasma blast that left her permanently disfigured. Damn. I trusted her. She made that decision. But sometimes when we make a decision and we don't fully understand the consequences of that decision, it is sometimes easier to pass the blame on to somebody else than actually confront the fact that we made that decision and we had serious consequences. So it's understandable that she would be very upset at me. However, I trusted her, you know? I said, okay, you're making this choice. Now, you could argue that if she was being shocked in that moment, she would physically not be able to let go. At which point, I don't really know whether or not she intended to hold on as long as she did. In retrospect, now you could maybe say that's a point at which Jaro should step in. But Bedrosian might have just helped prevent a war. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very serious situation. However, maybe now she could be friends with Etzelar, who also, you know, her injury was nowhere near as severe from the looks of it. But Etzelar is dealing with an injury and being very, very self-conscious about it. And Etzelar could maybe help Bedrosian confront this injury. On top of that, we have people like Geordi. You know, if her eyes are beyond repair, she could get Geordi eyes. And you know what? Geordi eyes, pretty good. I'm not saying it's not bad. I am just saying that there are some silver linings if you care to find them.
Oh, thanks, B.
Unfortunately, our shuttle systems were damaged by the power surge. We can no longer serve as the transporter node.
Carter, these readings are off the charts. The source of the storm is on this ship. That must have been the power surge when it came on board.
You're right. That's a Khan energy source. They call it the Cartabula. It's here.
Here? Wasn't it just on Tau?
The intruders are preparing to bring the Zeldi to war.
And we're about to be stuck on it.
There is an old Lydian saying about leaping off the hot skillet and falling to the flame below.
Yeah, we got that one too.
We stay hidden. We fight back. We're on our own. Well, we're not on our own yet. However, we may quickly be approaching a situation where we are on our own. I would only say that we stay hidden if that is under the presumption that we will stay hidden such that we can fight back in a strategic way. Because I think we need to fight back. The thing I think we don't need to do is hide, stay hidden, and remain hidden. All right, that's not very Starfleet. Right? Starfleet stands up to the oppressor. So I think we fight back. If somebody wants to hold me back and say we need to strategize, then that's fine. But I'm going to say we fight back.
We don't know where this ship is going, but we are not lost. We can still do something. We can still fight. And we'll stop them from getting the Cartabula wherever they're taking it.
I like this plan, and I shall fight.
Yeah.
That's all well and good, but if we're not getting off this ship, we're really backed into a corner here.
We can't get off this ship.
But maybe I could target somewhere on the ship.
We are reading the warp engines powering up.
Yeah, we picked up on that.
We do not have a way to evacuate you from the Zeldi. The shuttlecraft is too heavily damaged.
Part of me wants to say we've got a plan, but I don't know that this is a secure comms channel. And I don't want to give away that we've got a plan. And we definitely don't want to convey what the plan is over these comms channels. So I don't know that that's actually helpful to say. Duty calls kind of feels like a subtle nod to we have a plan. Yeah, I feel like I might say duty calls because on some level that's sort of, I feel like that's Carter saying, hey, this is the job. We're in it. This is how it goes sometimes, but we've still got work to do on this ship. So we're doing that work. I feel like that's what duty calls says. Find us later. Like, yeah, obviously he'll find us later, but we might even be able to take over the ship and we'll find him later, possibly. So I think duty calls is like the best approach in this moment.
Sorry we won't make it back, but duty calls. You know how it is.
I certainly do, Mr. Diaz.
Hell yeah. Lieutenant Commander Chovak was seriously impressed by Carter's heroic response when he learned that there would be no rescue attempt aboard the Zeldi. Hell yeah. Any day you can impress a Vulcan is a good day.
Live long and prosper.
Carter's like, I got it.
I hear voices down the corridor.
I got his respect.
I'll guard the door. You just get us out of here, Diaz.
Hey,
on it.
Help us with this map.
Stretch.
Find somewhere as remote as you can.
They're almost here.
Crew quarters?
High traffic, easily accessible.
There. The aft cargo bay.
I'll just keep clicking on stuff until you agree.
Whatever you're doing, do it now!
I'm on it.
We're locked in. Board to transport.
Let's go.
Come on, Belle!
Belle!
Damn.
It's too late for him. Carter!
3 to transport.
Miranda. How dare you?
Energize.
Oh, boy. There's the signs of the flame, I guess. Yeah, what was that guy's name? I never figured it out. I remember he was the guy who at first I thought was Carter, but it wasn't, obviously.
Come on, Belle!
Belle!
Zeldi does not appear to have left any warp signature at all. I cannot track its trajectory. Our duty often calls for sacrifice. She knows it, and our people on the Zeldi know it.
Contact the Resolute.
Well, she knows it now.
Have them bring us back. And tell them we'll need medical waiting for Lieutenant Bedrosian.
Yes, Commander.
Yeah, let's get a move on. She needs to be seen pronto. Hey, don't worry, Jara. This is what it means to be a high-ranking officer. You gotta put people in tough situations, and sometimes bad things are gonna happen to them. But that very much is duty. Dead Reckoning. Duval. Good work, Bedrosian.
Through your efforts, we were able to save almost 100 Elydians from certain death. As for Lieutenant Bedrosian, well...
Give her a medal.
She'll do her best, but the prognosis isn't very encouraging.
Yeah, let's gas her up. While Jara clearly does feel horrible, that is just an opportunity for Captain Solano to comfort her, which I don't think is helpful in this moment, honestly. I did what I had to do. I agree with that. I think in the moment, that was a necessary decision. But I think we need to recognize the sacrifice that Bedrosian had chosen to make because she saw what it was going to take to do the necessary thing. And while she may not have known the full extent of the consequences, she was willing to put herself on the line. I think we should honor and respect that. I think we should acknowledge that and appreciate that. I think this is one of those things where it's like Bedrosian gets like commendation and, you know, all this stuff goes on her record, you know? When we get back from this mission, like they're going to throw a parade for her or something like that. You know what I mean? Like she really is about that. And so she's a hero.
Lieutenant Bedrosian went above and beyond her duty. She deserves a commendation.
There we go.
See what I can do.
Commander Rydek.
That's what I'm talking about. Captain Solano respected Jara's display of leadership when she recommended Lieutenant Commander Bedrosian receive special commendation for her heroic efforts during the Elydian ship rescue. Come on, let's get a hot patch out. Let's fix that typo. Yeah, I mean, it's the least we could do, right? For letting her put herself in that situation. Man, Maris still looks angry as hell. We got Maris angry as hell at us. We got Bedrosian angry as hell at us. Hey, you know, haters gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just how it is. They always want a gun for the one up at the top.
I heard what you did. The sacrifice you made for our sake. You saved not only my life, but the lives of my crew. An incredibly heroic deed. All of Elydia is in your debt. We cannot thank you enough.
Just doing our duty, Admiral. I'm sure you understand. If you'll excuse us.
Of course.
And don't forget it. We might have to cash in that favor later.
Team back.
Ambassador Spock and the rest of the senior staff are waiting for us in the briefing room to discuss just that. I wanted a chance for you and I to speak first, given the circumstances.
All right. Sure. Love to hear from Spock. Love to talk to you.
Yes, we alert Starfleet about our situation. Missing crew, the data breach, possible threat from the Hotari, or Khan. I think we're better off keeping this to ourselves.
I agree.
Under our control. You know what's at stake for me here, and what is at stake for you, too. I can't afford another mission gone wrong, and I'm really counting on your support. I don't want to raise a false alarm just yet. And I have every confidence we can wrap this up before it gets any worse than it already is.
You have my support. I can't do that. It's not about you. Okay, so here's where I fall on this. This harkens back to the conversation that Carter had with Miranda, right? Where Miranda wanted to send out a distress signal to Starfleet to bring a bunch of people from Starfleet into the situation, heighten up the tension of the situation. I feel that this is a situation where the most appropriate course of action would be to notify Starfleet, but only if we could guarantee that Starfleet does not send anybody. If we could guarantee that Starfleet would not interfere at all beyond us, I think it would be appropriate to notify them of the situation and apprise them of the situation. That feels closer to protocol. That gives us some options if things really go awry. But I fear that notifying Starfleet will force Starfleet's hand to say, no, you can't handle this on your own. We have to send you backup. And once backup is sent, now all of a sudden we have all these Takan running around. We don't know who's who. And now we have more ships with more weapons and more people who can be influenced by the Takan. And all of a sudden it gets even messier and it gets even more riskier, more dangerous. I feel like notifying Starfleet does have a lot of high risk. The reason I wouldn't want to notify Starfleet has nothing to do with, oh, we can wrap this up before they find out. It has nothing to do with Captain Solano's situation and his history with the crew and all of that stuff. Has nothing to do with that. Now, I'm also recognizing that this moment was foreshadowed the last time Captain Solano and Jara had a one-on-one. Back in his quarters.
I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account.
I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Hell yeah.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Speak truth to power.
At the end of the day, it has to be my call.
Captain Solano was insistent. You speak the truth to me. I don't need a kiss ass. I don't need somebody who's just going to agree with me on every step of the way. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not your role here. And so you have my support feels very much like the thing that he didn't want. And even if I agreed with him, I would not frame it as supporting him. I would frame it as your intentions are correct. I think your perception of the situation is accurate. I would frame it much more matter-of-fact, evidence-based analysis, not just emotional support. And also in the same way that I didn't want Captain Solano to console Jara for feeling bad about what happened to Bedrosian, I don't want to console Captain Solano and make him feel good about what mess we're in right now. So I really don't want to do Y. Even if I agree with him, I don't want to do Y. I'm inclined to say A. It's not about you. I don't know that that necessarily pushes Jara to recommend reaching out to Starfleet or not. But what I do know that it does, it forces Captain Solano to shift his perspective on the situation and try to make the decision based off of other evidence than himself, based off of something other than how it will affect him. The shift in framing is really important in this situation. He needs that reality check. You got to think of the crew. You got to think of the Hotari. You got to think of the Illydians. You have to think about everything before you make this decision. You can't just think about you.
I'm sorry, Captain, but this isn't about you. The lives of everyone who wears a uniform are at stake.
I don't see it that way.
We're ready in the briefing room, Captain.
What is that angry-ass look? He was disappointed by Jara's refusal to support his decision whether to alert Starfleet about the status of the mission. Oh no. Did he get Takan-brained? Oh no. Did Solano get Takan-brained? And here's why I suspect Solano might have been Takan-brained. He's disappointed by my refusal to support his decision. We know that when we started this mission, he wanted me to be able to not blindly support his decisions. So what's with the change in attitude on that? Right? Why does he suddenly feel so much different about that? Although maybe not, because I guess off of initial impression, I was thinking he was basically arguing for the same thing that Miranda was when she started acting weird, right? But they were trying to do the opposite things, right? Miranda really wanted to bring Starfleet in. And Solano really wants to keep Starfleet away. And maybe he's not the con brain. Maybe he's just a hypocrite. Maybe he's just a hypocrite. That was such a weird response, though. You had to be a captain. That there are so many lives at stake. It's not about. It's just not about you. And for him to be like, "Nah, I don't see it that way. It is about me," is kind of ridiculous. It kind of makes me feel like maybe he shouldn't be captain. I don't know. I would love for him to elaborate, but since he just got a message on the comm badge, I'm not sure he'll get the chance to elaborate. Man, everything is going sideways. We have 3 people who are very displeased with us right now. Okay, well, let's see where that goes, I guess.
On our way. Is there any update on our efforts to trace the Zeldy's warp signature?
Unfortunately, no. Somehow they were able to mask the signature and block our ability to track their trajectory.
I'm also concerned about what went with them. A Taconian energy source.
Sidron referred to it as the Cartabula.
Yes, I've been analyzing your tricorder scans. This Cartabula is more powerful than any energy source on record. It disabled our ability to warp and likely created the ion storm.
We have to find that ship.
It could be anywhere by now.
Literally anywhere.
Why, do you guys think it was able to, with all that extra energy, hit warp 10? And exist in all points in space simultaneously throughout the universe? Like Tom Paris?
Sensors indicate that he did cross the warp threshold. If that's true, then he could be anywhere in the universe. For a moment, I was everywhere. I mean, everywhere, Captain. Other galaxies, it was all there. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
That would be an interesting development. Okay, I mean, but if they are limited to more standard warp speeds, they couldn't be literally anywhere. That it still takes time to get places. Starfleet can help, so there is an option to really kind of push things in that direction, to really say, hey, we have to involve more people. Honestly, I would love to hear what Spock thinks about Starfleet intervening at this point. Because I really trust Spock's advice and his perspective and his read on things. I would love to hear how he feels about that. Also, now that the Cartabula is gone, we should not be in the middle of the ion storm. So we can go to warp again, presumably. The Hotari must know more. I don't know that they would. I would not be surprised if most of the people who knew about the Cartabula were Takan-brained already. So it's not just like the Hotari as a blanket know all about this thing. I think it's a select few individuals from Hotari and Elydians who know about this. We have crew on that ship. I don't think we have crew on that ship is helpful to say, because obviously everybody in this room understands that and knows that already, but it feels like the safest option. Starfleet can help. It feels very prickly. The Hotari must know more feels a little ignorant. It feels like it's not founded on anything. And we have crew on that ship feels redundant. I don't like any of these options. Why would the Hotari know more? Part of me feels like the Starfleet answer is the correct answer. Get more eyes on it. Get more eyes searching the sky. Just keep everybody on alert, on the lookout. Whatever, we have crew on that ship, I guess. Hopefully it's not like, no, you gotta do it because we have crew on that ship. It's more like, oh man, we have crew on that ship. We gotta really figure this out, huh? Almost like a unifying purpose. I'm motivating everybody in the room to get behind a unified purpose to find this ship. We got to remember that there are people who we care about on that ship. Maybe that's the angle. We'll see.
I have faith in our away team. They won't give up easily. And
oh,
if they
okay.
somehow manage
That's a good
to stay
angle.
alive, then maybe they could get word to us about their location.
That'd be a hell of a lucky break.
Right now, we need all the luck we can get.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to rely solely on that. I didn't think that option was going to be her being like, yeah, don't worry about it, because they'll figure it out. I didn't think that was going to be the angle, but her saying, hey, don't forget, we have people on that ship who have agency and are capable of affecting change by themselves. I like that angle. I just don't want to get too complacent because of that.
Khan also compromised our systems when Petty Officer Maris stole data from our computer core.
We're assessing what was lost as we speak. It's just too soon to say exactly what they had access to.
Starfleet needs to know about this.
We're not contacting Starfleet until we fully understand the situation. There are too many unknowns.
They stole our data. That's reason enough to warn Starfleet.
But the captain does have a point. It might be better to wait until we know more.
Man, they're really pushing this decision, huh? Well, I happen to know that if I say we should alert Starfleet, Captain Solano will be pissed. He will not be happy about it. But he should have spent more time convincing me in private if he didn't want me to say this. Can the decision wait? Can it? So Captain Solano's whole thing now seems to be he wants to wait until we have more information, because that's what Westbrook basically just said. But we do have a lot of information. Back when Miranda was suggesting a distress signal, there was a lot we didn't know. We didn't know about the resurgence of the Takan. We did not know about the Scions of the Flame. I mean, we still don't really know about them, but we at least know like some of the people who are influenced by it and where they have gone. We don't know their objective, but we know some of the tools that they have with them. And we do understand now that at the very least, this is a conflict with 3 parties, whereas previously we thought it was a 2-party conflict. We know a bit more about the Takan technology at this point. We know quite a bit. We don't know what their objective is, and we do not know exactly where they have gone. I am very much leaning towards that we should alert Starfleet at this point. I am. I'm still nervous about the idea of a bunch of ships showing up and then more people get infected or whatever. I think on some level we should alert Starfleet, and then based off of how that conversation goes, I feel like we should probably immediately turn back around and tell both the Hatari and the Elydians what Starfleet has recommended. I think we just kind of need a all the cards on the table sort of moment, because that could help get the Hatari and the Elydians to work together with us against the Scions of the Flame. I think this is a thing that can get them to work together, whereas historically they have not. You know, previously they sort of had a strained, tenuous relationship based off of the economics of Tau. The thing I am frustrated by in this very moment is all of these dialogue options are statements. None of them are questions. This is precisely the time that people need to be asking questions. I would love it if Jara, instead of saying we should alert Starfleet, if she said, well, what is the harm in alerting Starfleet? Why would we not want to alert Starfleet? As though her mind, like mine, is not fully 100% sold on the idea quite yet, right? And this is a small group of relatively high-ranking officers with Spock, who hasn't said a damn word yet. These are the people who should be having this conversation, who should be pushing back against each other's ideas to really find out how we feel about it. The captain just has sort of unilaterally decided to not talk to Starfleet. I think part of his fear is that it will make him look bad, but I really don't think the evidence supports that it will make him look bad. I think Starfleet sent him on a mission that is much more complicated than they let on when they sent him on it. And I think given those complications, he has done a fine job. I think the decision can wait is a coward's answer, which is part of the reason why I want to say it. I kind of want to say it because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to make Solano super pissed off at me. I kind of don't want to say that I agree with the captain because it feels like it is an uncritical decision. It feels like it is a decision I am making just to stay in the good graces of the captain and not because it is something that fundamentally Jara believes in. I feel like no matter what I say, Spock will have something to say about it. he will have a perspective on this that will be clarifying. And I do wonder if I decide that we should alert Starfleet, if that will make Solano upset with me, but maybe Spock will respect it. This is a weird, like, critical boiling point kind of moment. We were sort of in a strategic standstill where we were gathering information and no major moves had been made by any of the factions. But now a major move has been made by the Khan. And it feels like we can't just sit around. That has to be my perspective shift on this. That has to be how I frame this. Which is, let's say we don't alert Starfleet. The hell do we do then? Do we just magically figure out where they went? And then we chase them and we recover everything and we stop them and everything works out fine, and then we just have like a chill little debrief with Starfleet? Like, what? That just doesn't make sense. And I'll be honest, I think a big reason why I'm going to choose we should alert Starfleet is because Captain Solano did a really bad job communicating why we shouldn't. I think when we had the one-on-one chat and he basically just said, nuh-uh, and that was it, I felt like he wasn't hearing me. I felt like he is not approaching this with a comprehensive view on the situation. That makes me want to counterpoint his decision, at the very least. If I disagree with the captain and I say we should alert Starfleet, that forces the captain to, ideally, I mean, because he has rank, he could just say, no, we're not doing it. If you suggest that again, I'm putting you in the brig. We're not doing it. He could do that, but if he were like a reasonable person, if he were a good captain, my suggestion to alert Starfleet would force him to lay out why that would be such a bad idea. And you know what? Ermot has never led us astray. Whereas Westbrook, we know that Westbrook kind of wants like the approval of superior officers. He talked about that when he was in the shuttle with Carter.
The captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap.
He wanted Captain Solano to think that he was a people person, and he wanted him to recommend him for command and all of that stuff. Ermot has been a real one with us since day one. Ermot was like, hey, people are not going to like you on the ship. I'm just letting you know. I have no problem with you, but people are not going to like you for this, and this reason. I just think you deserve to know because I, Ermot, am a real one.
But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake. So you might want to tread lightly at first.
Just thanks for the heads up.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
And right now, Ermot is like, I think we should tell Starfleet. And Ermot has not led me astray one single time in this entire game. That makes me feel, now that I think about it like this, that makes me feel a bit more confident about it. I think we should alert Starfleet. Okay, here we go. Roll of the dice.
We shouldn't take any chances. We should at least alert Starfleet that our system was compromised.
I agree with Commander Rydek. We should let Starfleet
The look on his face.
handle it.
And essentially tell them this mission was a failure before it's even over? No.
What are you talking about?
It's not how we're gonna do it.
He's so pissed. And he was angered by Jarro's continued refusal to support his decision, leaving him questioning his choice of first officer. Yeah, bud, you can question that shit all day if you want. You told me day one, you told me you didn't want somebody who just agrees with you because you're the captain. Don't forget that. Don't go forgetting it now, Solano. Because we're in it. This is when it matters. This is when every one of these matters. This is when disagreeing with you is really important. Ambassador Spock supported Jarro's assessment that Starfleet should be informed that the Resolute system had been compromised. Hey, you know what? If Spock agrees with me, Solano, you're on the wrong side of history. That's just what it is. That's not to say Spock has never done anything wrong. There was that time that Spock did the mind meld with that lady against her will. That was pretty messed up. It's a whole thing, but usually Spock is on the right side of history. And Duvall, Dr. Duvall was grateful for Jara's defiance when Captain Solano suggested withholding information from Starfleet. Damn, word gets around fast. She is not in this room, but she has eyes and ears everywhere. Well, let's see where this goes.
On my ship. I want to speak with the Hatari and get to the bottom of this before we get Starfleet involved.
I expect we'll meet resistance. The Hotari think we violated our neutrality by entering their minds. Assuming the negotiations are off, we no longer have an official role here.
We still have a responsibility to the Hotari and the Elydians.
The Takan are a threat to both their civilizations.
No.
Oh, she is here.
They're a threat, that's all.
Never mind. I didn't see her anywhere.
Commander Rydek found in the Taconian Vault is an advanced delivery mechanism for a complex biogenetic transformation process.
Meaning what, exactly?
Not only are they bioforming innocent hosts, transforming them into Takan, they're taking the DNA and engrammatic data of a specific Taconian and displacing that of its host. It's a hostile takeover on a cellular level, bringing individual Takan back to life, one by one.
Right. We are aware of this, at least us, the player character. Is the person eliminated? I would imagine gradually. Yes. I do wonder if it ever reaches a point of total elimination. I'm not sure we know fully yet. How fast does it happen? Pretty fast. Miranda is pretty Takan-brained at this point. Can we reverse the process? A lot of these are the same questions Carter could ask in the medbay. I mean, they're all pretty logical questions to be asking in a situation like this. I think in this moment, Jara would probably ask, how fast does it happen? Because that is strategic information. She wants to know if somebody is put in this situation, how long do we have until they are no longer one of us? I think that's probably what she would ask. Even though it's not the most empathetic would be, can we reverse the process? I would like to ask, can we reverse the process? Because that's not something we got to ask as Carter, but I'm not sure she would know. We don't have any evidence that it can happen. Yeah, I'll go with how fast. That feels like the question she would ask in this moment.
The bioforming process itself. From what I witnessed, it seemed to be almost instantaneous.
I forgot that she has seen the process happen, which now makes me feel like I shouldn't have asked that question because she already knows. She already knows. So I should have done the reversing question. But hey, here we are.
This is strictly an educated guess at this point based on my research, but the transformation does appear to happen immediately. The Taconian seizes control of the host, and then the displacement begins. Petty Officer Maris called herself a scion of the flame.
Right.
But the computer had no information about it.
She also shot the hell out of my ship as she escaped and nearly killed a few of our crew. So we know this about those scions. They're dangerous.
True.
The Takan have crossed a line. That much is certain. However, meeting with the Hotari could offer insight into their true intentions.
I don't know how.
Of an apology for betraying their trust and trespassing on their territory.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I'll probably say X because they aren't Hotari, they're Takan. Why would the Hotari have more info? I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to go talk to the Hotari about the Takan, but why would the Hotari have any additional information? That's not clear to me. That seems like a jump in logic. That feels like an unearned conclusion that we have arrived to. Part of me wants to say, that's a good plan because I want to be homies with Spock, but that's not really helpful. We should expect a fight. Maybe. I think we should expect tension, but maybe not necessarily a fight. I'm going to say X because that's how I truly feel. Like I would like more clarification on why we feel like the Hotari would have so much more information about the intentions of the Takan.
What if there are no Hotari left? If Galvin and Sid...
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Weird conspiratorial thinking of like, what if the entire species has been taken over? What?
Were Takan. Who else? The Queen?
I think we would know if that were the case.
Would we?
We'll take every precaution.
With the Cartabula gone, I can...
That is a good point, though. What if there are, maybe not, what if every Hotari is a Takan, but what if we are speaking to Takan unknowingly amidst the rest of the Hotari? That is a sensible precaution to keep in mind. And I'm glad that at least, even though Captain Solano is pouting and he is very sad and he's very angry and stomping around and crossing his arms, I'm glad he at least has enough sense to say that is something to be concerned about, and we'll keep that in mind. At the very least, he gave lip service to that.
Confirm we have regained warp capability and the use of
great.
Excellent. Commander Ermot, see if we can arrange a meeting on Hotari as soon as possible. As Ambassador Spock suggested, under the pretense of an apology.
Aye, Captain.
Nice work, everyone.
Later. That pose is so funny.
You're long overdue for a Deridium infusion.
Tell me about it.
It looks like I am.
Thanks for the reminder, Doc. We gonna have a heart-to-heart? Oh, are we gonna see Bedrosian? What's she up to? On one hand, it looks pretty gnarly. On the other hand, it looks pretty badass. She's gonna be like that one guy in, I think, Mortal Kombat, who's blind and he's got the long blindfold or whatever, and he uses a sword. Bedrosian's gonna kick some ass now.
You two a moment, but she needs her rest.
I understand.
Commander Rodek? Is that you?
What up?
I thought I heard your voice.
I mean, I would like to say all three of these. Yes, I'm right here. That is confirming her question. That is very pragmatic. That's practical. How are you feeling? Probably not good. So maybe that's not a great question. I'm so sorry would be a good thing to say, I guess. I guess. Because she probably does feel quite a bit of guilt about the situation. But why feels a little too cold? Yep, that's me. I'm here. It just feels so impersonal. I'll go with A. I don't know that I should be overly apologetic because, again, I mean, I've talked about it a lot. It was one of those necessary sacrifices in the line of duty kind of situations, right? Terrible situation, but a lot of good came from it. Whereas a lot of people would have died had we not done that. So I'm not sorry in that way, but I am sorry that she got so injured.
I just want you to know how sorry I am that this happened.
You don't have to apologize. I'm glad you came.
Yo, Bedrosian's such a real one.
Say anything. I just want you to know I don't blame you for what happened. I heard that last transport made it through. That was our mission, to save lives. So, I'm glad it was a success. And Dr. Duval tells me she can get me my sight back. Eventually.
That's great.
I just hope this isn't the end of my career.
Oh, no, girl.
Be much of a tactical officer if you can't see what's coming. But this is all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah, your career is not over. Absolutely not. Let me tell you all about how Geordi's life got turned upside down. Yeah, your career isn't over. I mean, I like to think that Starfleet is a very accessible organization, and we got a lot of work that needs to be done. One, I should say, I'm glad she's seeing reason and she understands that, like, that's how it goes. I'm glad she doesn't blame Jara. Although when she was saying that, she did sound a little bit like a soldier who was conditioned to downplay the value of their life for completing the mission, for something like that. That's what it read to me as a little bit, which I don't like. But I think right now she's just really feeling nervous that she won't have a place or purpose anymore. And I don't think that's true. I really don't. And I think she needs to hear that. And I think the closest I can get to that is through A. At this point, X, super unhelpful. She's already said she doesn't blame me. I don't need this like self-pity kind of angle from Jara. It's fine. I mean, I know throughout this whole game, I've been like kind of pushing the blame off to other people in some situations or whatever. And I think mostly justified so, at least from my perspective. But in this case, that feels like super unhelpful. And it's just going to make Bedrosian feel bad that she is making Jara feel so bad. You know what I mean? I don't think that's like the best angle. Trust Dr. Duvall could be fine. But the thing I don't like about Trust Dr. Duvall is Trust Dr. Duvall basically acknowledges that if you don't get your eyesight back, if Dr. Duvall is not able to do what she has told you that she could maybe do, then you're in a bad situation. I don't like that. I want to say, even if Dr. Duvall cannot recover your eyesight, it's still not over. There's still stuff for you to do. You still have a place here. You still have a purpose here. We still need you. So I'm going with A.
The latest advancements in vision enhancement are truly remarkable. I wouldn't be surprised if you came back better than you ever were.
I just want to be able to see.
I don't like that angle. Come on. Come on, Jara. You needed to give her like a pep talk, not like giving her a brochure on selling her on the latest advancements in medical technology. Tell her she is needed. Tell her that she has a value. Not whatever the hell that was.
Again. That's all I'm asking.
All right.
Lieutenant Bedrosian took comfort in Jara's optimism when Jara visited her in sickbay. Well, that's something, I guess, considering the fact that the last update said that she might never forgive me. I mean, that's a pretty big swing, which makes me feel like Solano is probably going to come around to us as well if we say the right thing at the right time. All right, Duvall, what's up?
Lieutenant Bedrosian needs her rest, and you have an infusion waiting for you.
All right.
Checking on you soon.
Fair enough.
I promise.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Hey, respect, Bedrosian. You did the hard thing.
Aside from almost running out of Deridium, you're in good health.
Nice to get some positive news for a change.
You I don't worry about. The captain, however...
This is what I expected.
Go on.
You see it, don't you? He's desperate. Withholding intel from Starfleet just to save his reputation. That's not normal behavior for a captain. I was relieved you called him out on it. Which was surprising since you followed his order to blow the...
Oh my god.
...at Starbase.
Enough with that.
You've spent enough time with him now. Seen enough of how he runs this ship. If there's something wrong, as the ship's doctor, I need to know.
Oh.
Don't sugarcoat it. You know I wouldn't.
My options are, I don't question my captain. I'm worried about him. He's perfectly fine. Well, I'm definitely not going to say I don't question my captain. Again, that's not who I am. Just personally, me. But that's also not who Jara is. That's not who they have set up the character to be. Jara is her own person. She is not totally subservient to the captain. She is not here simply to agree with whatever the captain has to say. Never has been. That's why sometimes she agrees with the captain, sometimes she doesn't. Because sometimes the captain is not always completely wrong or always completely right. No human being is. It's weird that you keep bringing that up, Duvall. But I get it. It's a game and there are choices, and sometimes the game wants to remind you that it is keeping track of that. So I do question my captain when he is off. And And if you're saying I've seen how he runs the ship and I've been around him long enough to know whether something is wrong with him, this is the only time where I feel like his judgment has been impaired. Up until this point, he seems like he's been doing just fine. I'm not sure that I can think of a single moment where I would be like, oh, that's not a good thing to do as a captain. The only thing that even comes close is during the blow the bolts situation. Dude wasn't even on his ship, but we were docked to the starbase. I don't think that there is a reasonable expectation that you have to be on the ship 100% of the time while you're on starbase. So I don't hold that against him. However, in this moment, I am questioning him. In this moment, I am a little concerned. I fear that saying I'm worried about him sort of implies a much larger issue, right? Because Duval is talking about how he performs as a captain in general, whereas I'm really just concerned about this particular moment in time. And it's so weird to me that we're just not able to have a more in-depth conversation with Captain Solano. Because maybe if he were able to better communicate why his decision is what it is, then I think maybe it wouldn't read as nearly such a big problem. He's perfectly fine. I feel like up until the last 10 minutes, he has been perfectly fine. I'm just imagining a scenario where I say that I'm worried about him, and Duval takes that to mean, that means I, as the medical officer, the head medical officer of the ship, I'm within my rights to relieve him of duty, which is an established thing on Starfleet ships. Medical officers can do that to the captain. And then that looks like a power grab from me, because as second in command, I then basically become the captain. I don't want all of that, but just his response of me saying it's not about you and him saying, I don't see it that way. That does make me worried about him. And everybody keeps saying that he doesn't want to reach out to Starfleet because it'll make him look bad, and I just don't agree. He said that, if we reach out to Starfleet, we're admitting that the mission failed before it's even over. And I really don't agree with that perspective. I guess I don't like this because it feels so extreme in both directions. I hope that if I say I'm worried about him, it gives me the opportunity to elaborate and explain in what way I am worried about him. I mean, I did briefly think that he was infected by the Takan. I'm not sure I totally agree with that sentiment now. Okay, here's what I'll say. I think I'm going to go with I'm worried about him. And I think I'm going to choose that strictly based off of one specific thing. And that specific thing is his change in attitude towards disagreeing with him. I think early on, he seemed like a very reasonable person, and he welcomed disagreement. Even when we had the blow the bolt situation, I was able to push back against him when he was on the view screen, and I was able to say, hey, do you trust me? In this moment, right now, trust me to make the correct decision.
Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp. I'm giving you an order.
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
I'm not. And when I said that, he relented. He was open to the possibility of me disagreeing with him. And now, there's no flex. There is no, okay, I trust you. If you have another perspective, I am eager to hear it. There's none of that. It is rigid, locked in place. I have made my decision. You cannot alter it. And that worries me. At the very least, that's not a great quality of a captain in a tense situation. And right now, even though it is tense, I made allusion to it being like at a critical boiling point earlier. But right now, in this specific moment, while every decision should matter and every decision has weight to it, we're also not under the immense pressure of time. This is not time critical. We do have time to talk things out. Even though that Elydian ship is out there somewhere, presumably progressing towards some nefarious end. So we don't have a ton of time, but we're not being actively threatened, right? We don't have a ticking clock. I mean, in my case, quite literally, we don't have a ticking clock because I can wait out the timer. But there is time in this moment to talk things out, and Solano is still not willing to hear things out. I'm going to say I'm worried about him. I might regret it because Captain's, I'm not gaining any favor by saying it.
To be honest, I'm worried about him. It seems like the stress of this mission is getting to him. He has so much riding on its success, and I am concerned he'll do something rash to ensure it.
Good to know we see eye to eye on this. And I want to be clear, I care about Solano.
Okay.
I really do.
It's good to know.
I've been a doctor for years. There are more important things at stake than offending an old friend.
True.
If it gets any worse, you know where to find me.
Okay. I like that the outcome of that is not, all right, time to take him down. Instead, it's more of like, okay, I'm glad you told me. Keep an eye on this because you're going to be closer to him than other people. You're going to see if it's going to get worse. You play an important role in this. And if it does get worse, come back to me. Know that I hear you on this. I like that outcome. And she shares Jara's concern that his judgment may be impaired.
Jara.
Oh, hey.
Monitor your deridium levels. I'll be right back.
What up, girl?
How's your wound?
Oh, yeah, you got shot.
Like it was never there.
Nice.
Lucky you were there with me. Without you, I'd be, well, thank you for saving my life.
Without me, you never would have gone into the mines.
With the wonders of your technology, it wouldn't have mattered if you'd left me for dead.
Yeah, without me, she would not have been doing espionage to begin with. So, you know, I kind of sold her the problem and the cure a little bit. I should thank you. I agree with that. You're welcome. That could be nice to say. You risked too much. I'm probably not going to say that. While I appreciate the sentiment that you risked too much is, hey, your life has a lot of value and you could have died out there and that would have been a very bad outcome. I feel like it kind of downplays the importance of that mission. I feel like it sort of downplays what all of that was risked for. I think I should say thank you because she did risk a lot and she helped us and she helped her people. And I know that was hard for her. That was not easy. She was second guessing herself as she was going in, but she followed through with it with my support. And I want to thank her for doing the hard thing. Just like Bedrosian, she did the hard thing. And I want to thank her for it.
I should be thanking you. You took that disruptor shot for me. Without you, I might be the one in sickbay, or worse.
True.
Well, I couldn't just let you die. Not after all you did to help.
I won't forget it.
We saw the truth down in those mines. What Sidron and Galvin really are. Who they become. The lengths they're willing to go to. What they did to that Elydian.
Don't forget it.
It's hard to accept. That everything I thought I knew, so much was a lie. The horror of that underneath our feet the entire time.
Sometimes it's like that. Now we know the truth. Yes, it was horrific. We'll stop them. I'm inclined to say now we know the truth because I always think that the truth is empowering. I think knowing the truth allows us to move differently and act differently and think differently and feel differently. I think that's very important. I could see, yes, it was horrific as being a good response insofar as it validates her disgust and anger and frustration at the situation. It says you're right to feel like that is a bad thing that we encountered, because it was terrible. We'll stop them also sounds good. This is one of these situations where all the options feel good to me, because we'll stop them is very active. It basically implies that it was horrific. It implies that we now know the truth, and it gives a direction to point us in. I'm really tempted to go with A, but I'm probably going to go with Y, just because I think it is important to reinforce that there's value in the truth. So Koth, his eyes uncovered.
It's always better to know. No matter how awful, the truth is better than living with a lie.
Preach.
I'm coming around to that thinking as well.
Commander Rydick, you're needed on the bridge at once.
What is it?
The Hotari have agreed to meet.
All right. All right, my voice is feeling it. Okay, that was a tough series of events. I feel like up until this point, it has been fairly easy to navigate the interpersonal relationships and to stay on everybody's good side, right? You do the right thing and all of the right people will feel good about you. But here we've had some real consequences to actions, it feels like. At least they're giving me the illusion of real consequences. We had a member of our away team die. Now that was not really due to my actions, I don't think, but it happened nonetheless. But Bedrosian is quite severely injured as a direct result of my actions. Well, as a direct result of her actions combined with my action. But I'm really glad we had that conversation in Med Bay. That felt like really important bonding. Actually, it's funny. I think long term, Bedrosian will actually really appreciate this, because I think right now, Jara feels sort of indebted to Bedrosian for making that sacrifice, and this will bond them together. A little bit of trauma bonding, but I think this will bond them together, and over time, they will have a closer relationship because of it. And I think Bedrosian will really like and appreciate that. And in the future, she'll be like, it was worth it. It was worth it because I got to be close to Jara. But we'll see. We'll see. I like that there were consequences. I like that we're working through it. I don't know how this Solano stuff is going to play out. I feel nervous about it in the same way that I felt nervous about Miranda when Miranda started to behave strangely. And then we've got all this crew on this Elydian ship that is just lost somewhere out in space. And we don't know what their objective is. They have this Takan technology on board with them. They can create an ion storm. They can create a warp disrupting beam. Maybe they're on their way to Earth, right? Maybe they're on their way to Starfleet headquarters for some reason to wreak havoc over there. I don't know. Where could they possibly go? What purpose could they possibly have? Maybe they're going to, they could be going to an old Takan outpost where there is one of their portals or gateways. I forget exactly which one the Takan have. And maybe they're going to reactivate it with their Takan technology. And then all of a sudden that opens up a network of intergalactic travel. I don't know. Still unclear to me whether the Takan are necessarily acting in bad faith and have malicious intent. I think it's pretty clear that they are willing to use unethical means to achieve their goals, but we still don't know what their goals are. Is their goals to kill people? Is their goal to just live their life again? Is their goal to disrupt infrastructure, to disrupt the Federation in some way? Even though the Federation didn't exist when the Takan existed. So probably not that, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I'm looking forward to finding out. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And we'll pick this up next time on Star Trek Resurgence.